Well, hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to Thursday's edition of Take Five. We're talking about the life of Job. Our subject for the week is in the form of a question. It's simply this: do you still believe? Now, we learned that that question was initially asked by Job's wife. She was asking him in the midst of all that was going on, while he was sitting in that pile of ashes, scraping himself, milling over everything that's happened, all that he had lost, his children, his wealth, his resources, his livestock, barns and land, and now his health as well. He's milling over all of that stuff, and this woman asked him, do you still believe God? And of course, you know what he said. He said, you talk like a foolish woman. Yes, I believe him, because it's nonsense for us to think that we will receive good at the hand of God and also not receive evil sometime as well. So yes, Job still believed God. But I'm asking you that question today. And not with the cynicism that Job's wife had. I'm asking you today, really from a heart of concern, do you still believe God? Because I know you're going through things. I know you face things. I know you struggle with things. Everybody does. As long as we live in this life, in this world, we're going to have problems. We're going to have struggles. We're going to have issues. We're going to have tough things that we're going to face. We're going to deal with grief. We're going to deal with mourning. We're going to deal with anger. We're going to deal with frustration. We're going to deal with anxiety. We're going to deal with hurt and pain. So many things that we're going to have to deal with. And that's why I'm asking you this question. Do you still believe God? Because that's when our faith is put to the test in the middle of all of these things. When we can still trust God, even though the outcome is not necessarily like we want it. Because you see, great faith is not that I always get what I prayed for. Great faith is who and what I put my faith in, regardless of the outcome. And when we put it in Jesus Christ, when we put it in God, when we trust His plan, regardless of the outcome, then we do have great faith. And it can be said of us that we still believe God. So there are about 7 things that I want us to look at over the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. We talked about 2 of them already. These things are events that you can see where God and Satan both play a role in all of the events and the quandaries that are happening in the life of Job. We learned yesterday 2 things. Number 1, that Satan is accountable to God for his actions and his whereabouts. That, to me, that's so exciting to think about, that the devil still has to answer to God. After all this time, I don't know how long ago it was that God kicked him out of heaven, but he still has to answer to God at this time, and he has to be accountable to God for his whereabouts and his actions. Number 2, we learned that God has a hedge around every believer that Satan cannot cross unless God gives him permission, or the other person that can give him permission is you, if you choose to step out from that hedge through willful disobedience and rebellion and sin. And when you do that, then you give Satan permission to trespass in your life. But when you walk with God, the only way he can get in is if God gives him permission, because that hedge is designed to keep him out of your life. Let's look at a couple more today. Number 3, it's going to tie right in with that hedge. When God allows Satan to cross the hedge, he's still limited as to what he can do. There are times that God will open the door and allow him in. Just like we talked about Peter yesterday, Jesus said to him, he said, Peter, Satan has asked that he might have you so that he can sift you as wheat. And the response that Jesus gave to that was this: and I have prayed for you that your faith does not fail. So he said, Peter, I'm going to let him get in. I'm going to open the door. I'm going to let down the hedge. But when God does that, the devil is still limited as to what he can do. In the first part of Job's trial, God gave Satan permission to destroy Job's family and his wealth and his resources and things like that. But he was not permitted to touch Job personally. Chapter 1, God tells him now, or Satan says to the Lord, now stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he'll surely curse you to your face. And the Lord said to Satan, very well then, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger. Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. So he said, you can touch his stuff, you can even touch his kids, his family, but you cannot touch Job. He put limitations on Satan. He let the hedge down, sure enough, but he put limitations as to what the devil could do. Basically, he put the devil on a leash and said, boy, you can only go so far, and I'm going to snatch a kink in your neck and pull you back. When you look at the second part of Job's trial in chapter 2, God gave Satan permission to afflict Job's body with sickness and make him suffer with all of the sore boils and things that he endured, but he was not allowed to kill him. Chapter 2, the devil says, I swear if you will attack his flesh and bones, he'll curse you to his face. So the Lord said to Satan, all right, Job's in your hands, but you're not allowed to kill him. So God said, I tell you what, I'm going to open the door. I'm going to let down the hedge. I'm going to let you get him there. I'm going to let you touch him again. I'm going to let you afflict his body with pain. I'm going to let you afflict his body with disease and sores. I'm going to let you do that, but you cannot kill him. Again, he said, boy, you're on a leash. You can only go so far and I will snatch you back. So the good news is this. One, we have a hedge around us that Satan cannot cross unless God gives him permission. And secondly, when God gives him permission, that devil is still limited as to what he can do in the life of a believer, because God is on our side and God is sovereign. He rules supreme over all things, including the devil. Number 4, the last one we're going to get to for today, or I think we will anyway. God only allowed this crisis to come into Job's life to validate his faith. That's the only reason he allowed it to come in, was to validate Job's faith. Listen to 2 verses, one from chapter 1 and one from chapter 2. The Lord said to Satan, have you noticed my servant Job, that there is no one on earth like him? He is good and faithful. He respects God and he refuses to do evil. That's the first introduction of Job to Satan by God. Chapter 2, the second time, listen to the wording. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you noticed my servant Job? There's no one on earth like him. He is good and faithful. He respects God and refuses to do evil. Here's the wording. And he is still faithful, even though you asked me to let you destroy him without reason, everything that he has. Did you hear what he said? He is still faithful. He's validating Job's faith. He told the devil he was faithful the first time, and you put him through all of that stuff, and he is still faithful. He's still hold fast. He's still holding strong. And so God was validating Job's faith there in front of the devil, in front of heaven, in front of the world, in front of the church. If there had been such a thing, he was validating Job's faith. When you still believe God in spite of the hardship and the suffering and even loss, it authenticates and confirms your faith before everyone around and proves that, number one, you do still believe God, and number 2, that there is a reason to trust this God of heaven. He will never let you down. Well, hey, I've got to get out of here. It's been good being with you today. I look forward to being with you tomorrow on Friday's edition of Take 5. Till then, God bless you. Have a great day. Hey, trust the Lord, my friend. He will never fail you.